Okay, video number 3 in this little mini series then. So question was, what do we do? So if we're looking to get to stable mode, so we're at 0 to 100,000, what do we do? We've covered that. What if we're in plateau mode? So we're between 100,000, 500, 600, 700,000, but we're just plateauing. Or in my view, if anything in life, a relationship with your partner, your body, your spirit, anything goes down by 1% a day, you're fucked. Because you don't notice 1% a day. Within 100 days, you're fucked. On the flip side, if it goes up by 1% a day, wonderful. So we want to have control of metrics, is what we said. And if you're plateaued, you might not be plateaued, you actually might be going down. Just be aware of that. So this third video is for those who are looking to now dominate, to really scale. The scale is a bit of a bastardized word nowadays. Everyone uses it in a certain manner, which might not be reflective of recruitment or search. So we want to dominate. And dominate to what? So dominate, you should have an idea of what we're looking to dominate. So, I've got, in fact, let me put the frame this way. I've had members who are doing over 10 million and they are taking home less money, dividends-wise, than a one-person member in the group who's been with me a year. That's fact. You go to our case page to check for your own numbers, sort of thing. So when we say about dominate, it's not about my business will do 10 million. And one of the biggest fuck-ups I see ever. What's your goal? I want to have 4 people. I want to have 4 desks. No, you don't. What do you want? I want to buy my house. I want to have $1 million in the cash. I'm worried about this fucking COVID thing. Whatever your thing is. So what's the real outcome we're looking to achieve here? And it will be about your personal financial money, not the business, your personal financial money, and it will be about the model to get there. So it will be, I want to be taking out $1 million a year, personally. That means the business is going to have costs of $500,000, we've got $500,000 tax, let's say. So business needs to bring in $2 million a year, so you take out $1 million, okay? That's the first figure you want to get to. So when we say dominate, think about what your outcome is. It's really important because we can get lost in this scaling piece, which means we can fuck up really quickly. Second thing is, what's the model we're going to use to get there? So what I mean by that is, if you don't know we're now in a remote world, you never are. We've been doing a laptop recruitment now for almost a decade. Now we've been doing the remote thing now for almost a decade. So remote diversity, I've mentioned this in a previous video, remote diversity, certain niches, control automation, DevOps is one to think about as well, cybersecurity, e-commerce, supply chain, etc. Okay, so these are areas that are going to be here for the foreseeable. And depending on what you believe, other industries might go down, they might not go down. But you're in your position right now. So you're an existing business, and let's say that you're doing $1 million, or you're doing over 500K, and you've always known this time is going to change. You've done okay, but you haven't really had the foot on the gas. Just sort of been there, things have been okay. But now because of this, might be you're getting close to retirement, you're 3 years from retirement, it's like, fuck. What's going on? Or it might be you want to sell the business. So when we talk about dominate, what does it mean? What's your financial number? What's the model? And then in 3 years, as an example, how do we judge success? So you're probably, if you're watching this now and it relates to you, you'll probably think about selling your business or bringing in over 500K personal cash to you, not to the business, to you per year. So either sell the business or bring in 500K plus, so $1 million plus to you in the business, okay? That's who we're talking to now. So to dominate, what needs to happen? Well, remember, what's the outcome here? The outcome is, let's say to sell the business, or we have a business that runs largely without you, but brings in $1 million to you per year. So we need to be dominant in a niche. So number one, what's our niche? I'm in IT. You're not in fucking IT. You're not in IT. IT is it's full of everything. What's your niche, number one? Get clarity on that. Number two, to get to that 2 million per year, let's say that figure, what are the numbers behind it? So I need to do 100 placements per year at 20K. Take it January and December. Now in my team, I've got Deborah, I've got these 10 people. Now the way that your team's structured, number 3, does it make sense? Well, I've got this person doing IT infrastructure. They do lead generation, they do conversion, they do account management, they do candidate delivery, essentially 360. So if you've got a 360 flat model across multiple niches, what you've really got is 10 mini businesses, dependent on 10 individuals being really good. And one of the problems I've seen, when you start applying, for example, so say for example, we gave you an automated strategy, whereby suddenly you'll get in hundreds of inbound leads happening every single week, every single month, hundreds of them. And your 360 recruiter has gone from being in struggle mode, cold calling, networking, and they've suddenly got these leads coming in and they've seen how you do it. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to bugger off, even with a contract. And a word on contracts. Contracts are only as good as much as you enforce them. As my lawyer says to me, you want to destroy someone, his language not mine, internally, that's in your business, and destroy someone externally in your business. But no, when you do it, you won't come away from that feeling excited. Yeah, I've just destroyed someone, saved my desk. It's going to take up time. It'll take you 6 months. So you might have the best contract in the world with that 360 recruiter, but the reality is that's going to cause you more pain than not. So the way you structure your team, if it's 360 recruitment, I'm not going to try and convince you. It's not my job to. I've got enough ironclad proof that that's not the model to scale a business nowadays. But if you've got that 360 business, think about this. Your business is you bring leads in, either client leads or candidate leads, number one. Number two, a conversion process takes place. So a one-to-one with the client or a one-to-one with the candidate. But that happens and takes place. And number three, you deliver the candidate. So wouldn't it make sense to compartmentalize your business? A lead bit, a conversion bit, a delivery bit. Yep. So it makes sense to structure it in that way. So when we dominate a niche, it's not just what's the niche and how do we dominate it. It's focusing on, right, I want to get to 2 million exit per year for me, for the bid. So you take out 2 million cash, or we sell the business in 3 years. What your client doesn't want to see, your buyer won't want to see in 3 years is you've got 10 desks with 10 360 recruiters. And you started adding all this automation, and then you've got churn happening because this person's buggered off with your strategy, or my strategy, which you've used as an example. And they set up their own business. They're probably going to fail, but people are complete twats when it comes to money. So when you set up this model for your business and you dominate your business, it isn't just a case of, right, how do we get number one on iTunes? How do we get so we're asked to speak on stage? That stuff's easy. I can show you that all day long. But when we dominate a niche, it's really focusing on, right, the structure of the business. So let's bring it back now full circle to COVID. The first thing I do is I look at a niche you're in and take a real world view of this. So worst case scenario, what's this niche going to look like in a year, 3 years? Best case scenario. Now, Father Christmas, on his best day positive, what's it going to be like in 1 year, 3 years? And then finally, in the middle, between 1 and 3, where's it really going to be? How's your niche really going to be, do we think, in 1 year, 3 years? So if you do need to take your niche off slightly, you can think about it in a proactive manner. You don't be reacting when everything's fucked. But don't think, oh, right, I'm in the automotive industry, it's going to be fine. Well, it's not, because every fucking country in the world is now buying into electric, and yeah, I don't believe it'll be as quick as it will be. What I'm saying to you, though, is the economy and the directives from those on high is electric's going to take over. So if you're focused on a fossil fuel or an automotive partner who gives you most of your clients, most of your roles, and they're diesel based, they're fossil fuel based, etc. You can't rely on that. You've got to have a sense of what is going on in the world, whether you want to believe it or not. Okay, so niche, do a little bit of analysis. Number one. Number two, team. I challenge a set of 360s against my way of working any day, and I'd win every time, as long as you do the work, every time. So when we set up this business, someone's going to buy it if you're going to sell it. And what they want to see is you put X units into the process, put 10 units in, process runs, 100 units out. That's what they want to see. What they don't want to see is you've got these 10 people or these 10 desks and people are buggered off as you start to add in these automation pieces. They don't want to see that. So think about your team and how you're structuring it. Now, just a deep breath there and a bit of a pause. What I'm not saying is you ever change the entire structure of a team in one go. You always focus on one desk and you sanity check it, get it working. Then you might roll out to desk 2, desk 3, but that's just basic stuff. Then you might add in authority strategies to the next level. So think about your team structure, think about your team, and think about what your business really is. Leads, client candidates, conversion, delivery. That's it. That's it. Now next, dominating a niche. So what we're really now talking about, what most people really talk about is, right, I need to be the number one authority in this niche. Number one authority in this niche. So to do that, what needs to happen? So now we get into authority strategies. So we're number one on iTunes. We've got 1,000 inbound leads per desk per month. We've got a client attainment system that overcomes all the objections before you even speak to anyone. We've got 20 inbound funnels on our website. So each day our diary is full of appointments. So now we're getting something completely different. And that's all easy. That's just tactics. But what underpins that is what I've mentioned just now, or not mentioned, given directive on, is, right, what is our niche? What is our team? Because that is the foundations of what you can do to get through COVID and dominate. Because if you say, for example, I gave you a strategy to become number one on iTunes, be number one on iTunes, and we roll it out on desk 1, okay? So do we make that strategy about Paul, who's on desk 1, or about your business, ABC Business? But Andy, I've got 10 desks. Right, so we make the podcast about all 10 desks and the business as a whole. So is your business in development in New York and there's 10 desks? So that's nice and niched. Or are you in IT, everything across the globe, and you've got 10 disparate desks? So the podcast we make needs to make sure it fits into the overarching strategy. You see? So there are some fundamentals here. So do we get that podcast to focus on the entire team, but you're the face of the business, or the business is almost faceless? I don't recommend Paul is the face of the business, because Paul might bugger off. He's number one on iTunes. So there's more here than just have a, let's start a podcast, or let's do run an automated webinar strategy, or let's do fill in the blank, fill in the blank. So domination, what it really means is you're in a good position. You've got the space, number one. Number two, you've got the mindset and you've got the drive, you know things need to change. Number three, you've got a track record, 3 core staples. But then number 4, right, what is our niche? Number 5, what's our team structure? Then number 6, now the work starts. How do we dominate the niche? Then the work starts when we've got those 2 components set up, niche and team. So with that said, I feel like I've given you a half-assed answer, but I've given you a real answer based on real business experience in recruitment search businesses in the last decade. Not just some bullshit saying, go and run a podcast and you do this. Yeah, we've got 5 steps to our podcast strategy. It works extremely well, but I don't know where you are. So dominate a niche. Remember what we're doing is dominate a niche. A financial outcome for you, a plan in 3 years to have a financial number to you or sell the business. Then we've got a structure of niche and desks. Then we've got the reality of your team. So with that said, I'll see you soon.